Random thought, why is shiny locking a thing?
Are you kidding? Game Freak is literally saving countless lives. Do you know how many people like you waste their existence on this franchise already? This way, they can at least spare some humans from turning the game off and on again for 60 hours to get a shiny Pokemon after an unskippable cutscene.
Maxwell, just let people enjoy the things they like. It doesn't hurt you.
Well, I like bitching and moaning, and now you're trying to stop me.
But okay, shiny locking. Every Pokemon has a very rare chance of having an alternative color and sparkles. Fans called this shiny, and the term was later adopted officially. However, there are certain Pokemon that have always had a 0% chance of being shiny. And I don't mean like how the Master Ball never fails, but technically has a 0.000015% chance of failing. No, I mean literally nobody could possibly have a shiny B Unown in the Gen 2 games. It was literally impossible. A 0% chance. Though, this was not done on purpose. In the case of Unown, as well as all female Pokemon with a 1:7 gender ratio, such as the starters, you would never get to see them shiny. But rather than a purposefully placed lock, they were just impossible to come across because of how shiny Pokemon worked back then. At the time, if a Pokemon's speed, defense, and special IVs are all 10, and its attack IV is 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, or 15, it will be shiny. But you see, IVs are also what decides which form of Unown you happen to stumble upon. And with the shiny applicable IVs, the only shiny Unowns you can get are, coincidentally, I and V. Was that a coincidence? Huh. But every single other Unown were essentially shiny locked because of this, but not purposefully. But get this, IVs were also used by the game's code to decide if a Pokemon was male or female, and in the case of the starters and any other Pokemon with a 1:7 ratio, it was impossible for a female to have the right IVs to be shiny. An interesting quirk to be sure, and one that Game Freak fixed up in the following generation by changing how shinies are determined. And then all was right with the world. With some rare quirky event-based exceptions like the spiky-eared Pichu, all Pokemon could be shiny.
And then came Black and White.
These were the first games with true shiny locking. There's a bit of code that simply says, hey, if these Pokemon happen to be shiny, you better remove the shininess and make them normal. This was initially applied to the box legendaries, Reshiram and Zekrom, and the mythical Mew clone Victini. Then later, in the sequels, it was also applied to Keldeo, Meloetta, and Genesect. These are all legendaries and mythicals. They are story-heavy ones, which brings up the first argument in favor of shiny locking existing. I mean, imagine you're a kid playing Pokemon Shield, and this big red and blue wolf is stalking you, and later you meet it properly, and it does this advanced moonwalk spin, and then you fight alongside it, and later you try to catch it, and whoop, it's a different color now! What happened? Looking ahead, the vast majority of shiny locked Pokemon are prominent in the overworld story stuff too. The box legendaries, the Tapus, the Ultra Beasts until Ultra Sun and Moon unlocked them, and even this one Snorlax. Yeah, this singular Snorlax blocking Route 7 in X and Y is shiny locked. No other Snorlax is. The difference? This Snorlax is prominently in the overworld, and you can see it before the battle. It would sure be strange for it to suddenly change color when you started fighting it.
Wait, couldn't they just make the overworld Pokemon shiny too if they happen to be shiny? I mean, they do that in Let's Go and Scabby.
Dude, shut up. Now, I, for one, love that the overworld Pokemon show their shiny colors now. It makes passive hunting much easier. I mean, take me for example. I've played every Pokemon game, and I only have 2 shinies to my name. The first was a Stunky in Legends Arceus. I named it Lockstin. And since then, I've only gotten a, male Salandit.
Oh, you poor adult man. I guess your luck is trash. So now just imagine if you really happened to like a shiny legendary and spent dozens of hours in a depressed puddle of blanket on your bed trying desperately to get it, only to later find out it's shiny locked. How would that make you feel?
Probably extremely comfortable.
What?
Because my bed is a mattress from today's sponsor, Helix Sleep.
Oh god.
Helix makes premium and customized mattresses to fit each of your sleep needs. Finding the right mattress doesn't have to be complicated like shiny odds. By simply taking their online sleep quiz, they can match you or you and a partner to the perfect mattresses. Plural there, because they also have different options for different budgets. Financing options too. Their elite mattresses feature dual microcoil layers, targeted pressure relief, best-in-class support, and glorious build quality. The Sleep Foundation calls it the best luxury mattress of the year. But I didn't get one of those. My wife and I got the middle option, the Helix Midnight Luxe. It's held up great for over 6 years now. The balanced feel for my back sleeping and her side sleeping and Sasha sleeping just all the time because she's a cat. It's oh so nice. I'm sure gamers and shiny hunters alike would really appreciate the cooling cover, which helps dissipate excess heat away from underneath, keeping you cool and comfortable without huge hot spots like this. Ew. Much better. Better like ordering a mattress online. Sounds anxiety-inducing, right? Like encountering a shiny Entei. But Helix knows this, so they take the stress away by shipping it to you all vacuum-sealed in an easy-to-move box and giving you a 100-night sleep trial to make sure you absolutely love it. And there's even a 10-year warranty to make sure you keep loving it. And you don't need to go hunting for shiny deals because their explosive end-of-year sale is running right now for a limited time. I've linked it at the top of this video's description, and you can get 25% off and 2 free pillows. It's a great time to upgrade your sleep, honestly. New year, new you. Sleep gooder, feel gooder.
It's better. Like how you better get back on topic, mister.
Oh, right. So I mentioned that the Ultra Beasts were shiny locked until Unown, yeah? That's point 2 as to why shiny locking exists. Events, updates, and future game releases. You want a shiny Buzzswole?
What is wrong with you?
Then I guess you're gonna have to buy these new games.
Now what's wrong with you?
It gives you another thing to look forward to in the new games.
You mean it gets you milked?
You probably shouldn't phrase it like that.
Yeah, I realized.
But as for events, it makes the events more noteworthy. If you don't know, there are Pokemon events where free special Pokemon are given out. Most of the time, they are Pokemon with something special about them. Perhaps they know a move that's impossible for them to learn otherwise. Maybe they are a Pokemon that straight up can only be obtained through an event, or maybe it's a shiny version of a Pokemon that is otherwise shiny locked. Like Shiny Genesect and Diancie, they were given away to promote their respective movies. Or take the mini shiny box legendaries, given away much later on to get people back into the game, or something.
Or to steal your information.
What? What would they even be? Never mind. As for shiny locked non-legendary Pokemon, there aren't many, but they still make sense for the most part. Like Cosplay Pikachu and Ash Greninja, these are very special Pokemon that have specific designs made specifically for them. They don't want to ruin them by having them be shiny. I mean, look what they did to Espeon! Ruined! But then Vivillon is a weird one. It's one of those Pokemon that has like 1 million forms.
Only 20.
20 million?! Okay, but really, yeah, 20. So you'd think, okay, yeah, they don't want them to have to double that by giving them all shiny variants too, but no, that's not quite how it works. The different forms of Vivillon change its wing pattern, while it being shiny changes the color of its head and body. So really, it being shiny is no big deal. And sure enough, 18 out of the 20 forms can be found shiny without issue. Well, other than the terrible odds and geolocation, but 2 of them, Fancy and Pokeball, are shiny locked. The heck? What makes them so special? Oh, hey, they were the event Pavilions. They were special one-time Pokemon. So yeah, clearly being saved for events is another major reason as to why shiny locking exists too. I mean, most recently, the few non-legendary or starter Pokemon to be shiny locked are Blood Moon Ursaluna, which is like sort of a legendary in the same way that Rotom was in Gen 4, where it's not a legendary at all, but it has a lot of story surrounding it, and it's sort of one of a kind. Kinda. You know, story continuity. That's the reason there. Give it a stamp. And then there's Gimmighoul. Yeah, every Gimmighoul you encounter in Scarlet and Violet is shiny locked. If you want a shiny one, you better have participated in that 5-star raid battle event, because that was your chance.
So dumb events and silly story continuity are why shiny locking exists? Is that all?
Not quite. I did mention the starters there too. Starter Pokemon are kinda different though. Obviously you can get shiny starters, but ever since Let's Go or Sword Shield, they'd have to be starters you breed yourself. The starters you are given at the beginning of the game are shiny locked.
As if Game Freak is saying, hey, will you actually just play the game already? None of this resetting for hours crap. I don't care how comfortable your mattress is.
Although, the same goes for the later starters and even regular Pokemon given to you, like the gifts from the Master Dojo or Reveler's Road, or even the Hisuian Growlithe that Perrin gives you, or the Alolan Vulpix Kaika gives you.
Hey, this is a touching story moment. None of your reset garbage allowed.
Really, almost all of the Pokemon that you don't catch yourself are shiny locked these days, and now you know why.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Fair. Wait, have you been flip-flopping your opinions?
I am here simply to argue, not to choose sides. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have several thousand X accounts to run.